Hey guys, this week we're going to read about the respiratory system. When you take the air test this week, again, if you search the respiratory system by Susan Gray, this one should show up. All right. So our table of contents is going to be Samantha sings. What is the respiratory system? What is the voice box? Why do you breathe? What does the blood do? And some breathing problems. Chapter 1, Samantha sings. It was Samantha's turn to sing. The music started and Samantha took a long, deep breath. Air rushed into her nose and mouth and it flowed through passages in her skull. Then it moved down into her throat. Air slipped between flaps of tissue in her throat called vocal cords, then into her chest. It flowed into two tubes. One led to the right lung and the other led to the left. The air moved deeper and deeper into her lungs, and it had reached the little air pockets. Millions of pockets inflated. Oxygen in the pockets seeped into the nearby blood vessels. Blood picked up the oxygen and carried it through Samantha's body. Oxygen helped keep all of her tissues working. Her brain could think about the music. Her ears could hear the piano. Samantha's vocal cords moved closer. She opened her mouth to sing the first note. Air from her lungs pushed against the vocal cords. The cords vibrated together, and the note began to come out. Samantha's respiratory system was helping her. So did you know the left lung is a little smaller than your right lung? This is because the bottom of the heart tilts to the left, and it takes away some space from the left lung. I did not know that. Your respiratory system helps you breathe, speak, and sing. So it's just how we breathe, speak, and sing, or talk, or anything like that. So chapter 2, what is the respiratory system? So the word respiratory comes from a Latin word meaning to breathe. The respiratory system has to do with breathing. It includes more than lungs. It involves all the tubes and air sacs that fill up and empty as a person breathes. Muscles help expand the lungs and move air in and out of the lungs. Nerves in the brain automatically make the muscles work. So remember we talked about the nervous system tells our bodies to do things and we don't have to tell our body? Well, using your respiratory system is one of them. So your nervous system says, okay, hey, you need to breathe, and your muscles start moving those lungs so we can breathe in and out. So all these systems work together. The respiratory system includes the nose, mouth, windpipe, voice box, and lungs. Most people do not notice when these organs are working, but each organ has a big part in breathing. So I'm going to take a break and look at the picture over here. There are many parts in the respiratory system. So you have the nasal cavity, the nostril, I'm going to say this wrong, the pharynx maybe, the larynx. A big one is the trachea. Now we have an esophagus beside the trachea that goes to our stomach. The trachea goes to our lungs. So trachea is for the air we breathe. The primary bronchus, the right lung, so it's the person's right, not our right, and the left lung, the person's left, not our left. So each time a person breathes in or inhales, air passes through the nose or mouth. From there, the air moves through the let me see if it tells me. Pharynx, there we go. Pharynx. So from there, the air moves through the pharynx. The pharynx is the area in the upper part of the throat. Air then moves through the voice box and down the windpipe, or trachea. This is a tube that is about as wide as a garden hose. An adult is about 4.5 inches long. So 4.5 inches long, wow. The bottom of the trachea splits into two branches. One branch leads to the right lung, the other leads to the left lung. Each branch is called a bronchus. Let me see if I'm saying that right. Bronchus, yeah. The two branches together are called bronchi. Each bronchus splits into smaller and smaller branches. The branches become so small they can barely be seen. At the ends of the tiniest branches are air sacs, called alveoli. Let's see if I can say it. Alveolus. So at the ends of the tiniest branches are air sacs called alveolus. The alveolus have moist, thin, delicate walls. Tiny blood vessels wrap around the outside of each sac. So that's where the air will get picked up by those blood vessels. The bronchi, their branches and millions of alveolus make up the lungs. The The lungs are in the chest, just behind the ribs. The heart sits right between them. Lungs are very spongy organs. They do not weigh very much. This is because they are full of so many air sacs. When a person breathes, some air goes down the left bronchus, and some goes down the right one. The air keeps moving through all the branches until it reaches the alveolus. Most of the alveolus fill up with air. The chest and ribs expand as this happens. Then the chest and ribs relax. Air moves from the alveolus back through all the tubes and out through the nose or mouth. So it goes to the alveolus, the blood vessels get the oxygen that it needs, and then everything else, and it goes through all your body, and it comes out through your nose and mouth again, what your body doesn't need. So did you know the average person has about 600 million alveolus? You don't have to think about breathing all the time, especially when you're playing with friends. So again, that's one of the things our nervous system tells our body to breathe all the time. We don't have to think about it. So chapter 3, what is the voice box? At the top of the trachea is a structure called the voice box, or larynx. It is used in speaking, singing, and making other sounds. Inside the larynx are the vocal cords. They are little folds of soft tissue. When you are breathing, these folds move apart. This allows air to move freely through the voice box. Usually you inhale before speaking. When you are ready to talk, the folds in the larynx move together. As you exhale, air from your lungs makes the folds vibrate. The vibration makes a sound. So did you know some people have a big Adam's apple? This is a bump that often sticks out in the front of the neck. The Adam's apple is really a part of your voice box. You use the roof of your mouth and your lips, tongue, and teeth to turn sounds into words. So you need all those things to actually make the correct words. When you talk and breathe, air passes through the larynx. So chapter 4, why do you breathe? I don't know, to stay alive maybe? Let's see. Breathing is very important. After all, you do it all the time. You breathe for 2 main reasons. Breathing helps your tissues get the oxygen they need. You also breathe so your tissues can get rid of a waste gas called carbon dioxide. Air is made up of several different gases. The main gas is nitrogen. Almost 4/5 of the air is made up of this gas. Oxygen makes up about 1/5 of the air. The rest of the air is made up of many gases in very small amounts, including carbon dioxide. The body's tissues and organs all need oxygen to work properly. The heart cannot beat without oxygen. The brain cannot think without it. Arm and leg muscles cannot move unless they get oxygen. So as tissues and organs do their work, they create waste materials. One of these is carbon dioxide. This gas must be removed so tissues can keep working. The job of the respiratory system is to bring in oxygen and get rid of the carbon dioxide. There's your lungs. When you breathe in, your lungs takes in air. So we breathe to get the oxygen to our body, and it also gets rid of carbon dioxide. So did you know asthma is a lung condition common in children? It is caused when the lungs are overly sensitive to irritants. The airways react to these things by lightening and narrowing, making it very difficult to breathe. So chapter 5, what does the blood do? The respiratory system is in your head, neck, and chest. But how does oxygen travel to the rest of your body? The lungs do not actually take oxygen to the tissues, and they do not take carbon dioxide away from them. These are the jobs for the blood. Special cells in the blood are built for just carrying these gases. Blood is always on the move. It moves through tiny vessels next to the alveoli, which are in the lungs. It moves to the heart. The heart pumps blood out to the body's tissues. It pumps blood all throughout the body, and blood comes back to the heart and is pumped to the lungs. It moves past the alveoli again, over and over. All day long, blood makes this trip. So each time you breathe in, your lungs take in nitrogen, oxygen, and other gases in the air. These gases fill your lungs and inflate the alveoli. Blood moving alongside the alveoli picks up the oxygen. Loaded with oxygen, blood travels to the heart. The heart pumps it out to the rest of the body. So here comes the oxygen here comes the blood that's already got rid of its oxygen. It picks up oxygen from around your lungs, the alveolus, and then it comes out and it goes to the rest of your body. So then it goes all the way through your body and it comes right back and does it all again, all day long. Alveolus are where the exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide takes place. So this is how those little things at the end of your lungs is where they pick up the oxygen from. The heart pumps blood to every single tissue and organ. When blood reaches the tissues, oxygen leaves the blood. It goes right into the tissues so they can keep working. Then carbon dioxide moves from the tissues into the blood. As the blood keeps moving, it hauls the carbon dioxide away. Soon this blood reaches the heart. The heart pumps it right to the lungs, and again, blood goes into the tiny vessels wrapped around the alveoli. Then carbon dioxide moves out of the blood and into the alveoli. Carbon dioxide leaves the lungs when you breathe out, and then the blood picks up more inhaled oxygen and heads back to the heart. The lungs, heart, and blood all work together. They make sure every single body part gets oxygen. They also make sure carbon dioxide gets carried away. So did you know many different things cause snoring? Having a stuffy nose can make you snore. If tissues in your nose are too large, they might make you snore too. Chapter 6, some breathing problems. So sometimes the respiratory system does not work properly. This is often because the lungs get an infection. Everyone catches the common cold at some time. Colds are caused by more than 200 different kinds of viruses. You often have a sore throat, a cough, and a runny nose. You usually do not have a fever. A few viruses cause a particular kind of infection. These are the flu viruses. The real name for the flu is influenza. The influenza virus comes in through the nose or mouth. It attacks the nose, throat, and lungs. A person with the flu seems to have a cold but also has a fever. The common cold and the flu are very contagious diseases. That means they spread easily from person to person. When an infected person sneezes or coughs, the virus spews out of the air. Someone else breathes in the virus too, and soon they have the disease too. So when you sneeze, germs may fly into the air where someone else can breathe them in. So that's this whole coronavirus thing. It's the same thing going on. It's attacking your respiratory system, and it's making it's hard to breathe, and you're getting that fever and all this other stuff. So they kind of go hand in hand. It's the same kind of infection. Other things can cause the respiratory system to work poorly. Smoking is the worst thing for your lungs. Breathing polluted air is also harmful. After years of smoking or breathing dirty air, people can get lung cancer. They feel chest pain and they cough a lot. They also feel as though they are not getting enough air. You can keep your lungs healthy by exercising and by not smoking. A healthy respiratory system can work fine for a lifetime. It cleans the air coming into the body. It draws oxygen into the blood. It gets rid of carbon dioxide. With each breath, it does all of these jobs. And every day, an adult takes more than 20,000 breaths. The respiratory system never rests. It does an incredible job. So exercising and playing with friends will help keep your lungs healthy. So it's not just for your muscles and your bones, it's also for your respiratory system. You need to exercise. Did you know some people have a problem called sleep apnea? As they sleep, they often stop breathing, sometimes for 30 seconds or longer. All right, quick look at the words. We saw carbon dioxide is a gas produced when people and animals breathe out. Breathing gets rid of carbon dioxide in the body. Expand. To expand is to increase in size, range, or amount. Muscles help expand the lungs, so it pulls them out. Inflate. To inflate is to add air or gas to something and make it larger. Gases fill the lungs and inflate the alveoli. Passages. Passages are long, narrow spaces that connect one place to another. Air flows through passages in the body. Sacs. Sacs are parts inside the body that are shaped like bags and usually contain liquid or air. Alveoli are tiny air sacs. Vibration. Vibration is a continuous shaking movement. The vibration in your lungs makes sounds. Vocal cords. Vocal cords are thin pieces of folded tissue in your throat that help you make sounds with your voice. The vocal cords are inside the larynx. All right, guys, that is it. Thank you for listening. When you are done with this video, I want you to go take the art test, and then you may turn this assignment in. Have fun.